Heyo folks, for the last time today, welcome back once more to the Tournament of Legends European Qualifier number 3. My name is Blue, joined today by Jebro, and we're back now for the third place match. We just got finished with our qualifying rounds and the results again. If you haven't seen them yet, mute the stream for a sec. Spoiler alerts are ink. We did see Team Exaltation and Wiggy's Wicked Wang Gang are the two teams that'll be moving on to the ToL2 Grand Finals at the end of August. And as for our third and fourth place teams, they are going to duke it out now for the bronze and what would be fourth place in medal? Tin?
Tin.
The bronze and tin awards, I guess you could say, here at the third and fourth place match. But again, these guys are going to be playing for placement here in just a few minutes. We actually are still waiting for a few of them to join up here once again, as there was, I think one player had to cool his laptop off as it was getting a little bit overheated there. But we will be getting started with that game in just a few minutes. But before we go in, Jebro, take us through the brackets really quickly. What did we see both of these teams kind of go through today?
Yeah, so having a look at Husaria, I mean, they've been against, God, Jesus, this bracket is massive. So many teams, man. So they defeated for the Dragon, they were going up against the Cold Touch, then the Foo Fighters, they've got not too happy with that defeat. You know, then coming up against Team Exaltation, which unfortunately, you know, that's the luck of the draw. If high-seeded teams in these brackets, they inevitably did go out. True Extinction coming up, doing quite well. Wings of Change were probably the first challenge they were against. They went up against Ospinos and Hamsters May Cry. That's an interesting team. And then Winds of Change caused them quite a lot of problems with the NG, but then coming through, and unfortunately, WAG were just, I think they played some really awesome Guild Wars 2 SPVP, really. And that's how they've both got to where they are. So what they are playing for, not only are they playing for third place, but they're actually playing for 800 gems as well. Because the third place team actually gets 800 gems, the fourth place doesn't. So there is a little bit of on the line, and whether or not they're actually aware, I'm not too sure, but I probably won't tell them, actually. Well, maybe it should. Don't know, but that's how those guys have got to this, and really fair play to those guys for getting, you know, don't know these teams, and they've almost got through to the finals, guys. So you've got as much chance as getting to that kind of situation and getting some nice prizing, even just in the qualifiers, you know. So can't stress this enough. Next time there's a tournament on, just get involved, get in there, practice, start doing it, get into the weekly cups. Misspedia does loads of them, got ESL as well. So many opportunities. So little time. Oh no, loads of time, because we're just kicking off, you know?
Indeed. So talking kind of overall about the brackets today, would you say that, you know, there was any surprises or anything kind of unexpected today, or do you think we kind of just, everything kind of went as planned? I mean, looking at like, I have some notes here from today, but it's like a very long list of notes. But, well, I mean, I already went over them. They were for pregame, but based on like what I had written down, I mean, things pretty much went as we expected. There wasn't really any surprises. Like I said,
predicted teams.
Our number 1 and 2 seeds ended up going through. There was nothing too crazy coming out of that. So yeah, somewhat of a uneventful qualifier today. But tomorrow is where I think a lot of interesting things are going to happen, because due to the somewhat flawed way that we had to split up the teams in the qualifiers, tomorrow is where a lot of the big names in North America ended up. Yeah. Apex, so tomorrow is probably going to be probably, if not the best qualifier, probably one of the best qualifier streams, to be honest.
Yeah, I just saw Apex outplayed by Children. I'm trying to go through. Unless I fail on NA, there is some nice teams in there.
A lot of the big boys are playing tomorrow. We've got Sharks with Lasers coming up tomorrow. Like you said, Outplayed by Children. Outplayed by Children actually should be rather interesting, as they've been going through quite a few roster changes, so we're not entirely sure how they're actually going to end up playing tomorrow. But then again, you've got Apex, and even Apex, to say the least, in my opinion here, the throne is kind of open for the taking in North America. Nobody's really standing out at the moment. There's no real big players. Apex even has kind of dropped off the map as the most dominant team in North America after the recent DPS fight night there that they ended up having, and a few other scrims that we've been seeing taking place as well. They haven't really been as dominant as they were around the ToL1 era. A lot of teams kind of found their way around their comp, and as such, Apex has been experimenting, and unfortunately, we don't really know how well that's been going, but we'll find out obviously tomorrow in their qualifier matches if that comes through. And then, of course, you have Outplayed by Children, who up until a few weeks ago were arguably going to be absolutely dominant here in North America, probably the top team. But even so, again, with these roster changes they now have coming into play, we'll have to see how that ends up changing out their synergy and overall play style. And then, of course, you've got a lot of other teams coming in tomorrow, too, so make sure you guys are checking all of that out. That, of course, starts tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, and 21 CEST, and those will be hosted right here on this stream as well. But anyway, kind of getting back on topic here for the European Qualifier 3, I think everyone has joined up, and we are pretty much ready to go for our third place match here, Jebro.
Awesome, looking forward to this. Just wondering, actually, I lost the plot because I was looking at some of those American team names, and they were just insane. What? What is it? Something potato duck?
Yeah, there's awesome. Quite a few interesting names in this qualifier.
Love it. Yeah, I think there could be some, there could be some potential upsets. There's actually some, some people who are probably in some other teams. I mean, I'm less a fan of NA, so tomorrow I'm going to watch, and I think I'm going to be pleasantly surprised in different places. So it's going to be quite nice. Whereas I think today has actually really been. Out of the 3 brackets, we definitely knew that these 2 teams were probably going to go through. Wrote it down as soon as I saw it. But here we go. We're going to start the game.
Alright guys, once again, this is, as a reminder, our bronze match between Team Husaria on the red side and True Extinction on the blue team. This is still a best of 3 set. First team to 2 points will be getting 3rd place prizing. The second place team in this matchup will be going home with 4th place prizing. But once again, the gates have opened up. We are obviously on a Legacy of the Qualifier. So Jebro, what do we got going on here?
We're actually going to see just Modus going over to the close point, and we're going to see Red be extremely offensive. Looks like an SR's coming up over towards the waterfall, so that's going to be a main team fight. Look at Farias and the Thief. That is a good rotation. They're going to move.
Are they moving for it though? They're not pushing for it just yet. They're holding. They're waiting. They're waiting for the reveal. They're waiting for the full numbers to pop out of it. Then they'll start to push in. But red team, specifically DPS and Pokejo, have committed over here to the waterfall. Now blue team's going to collapse back onto this point to get the defense rolling here as well. At the same time, Fior on the node has managed to fully cap because red team wanted to go and try to snipe a kill off onto Lemve. They unfortunately had to pay the price with the cap there, and we're now going to have a very interesting road fight here. There's been quite a few members of both of our teams.
They should have just pushed. They should have just kept pushing rather than just sticking there. And they've actually lost Willing to Sell as well, DPS, the Thief on the red team. They've actually lost him, so they're going to have to push back to mid probably to just, get their numbers back up. And it looks like Rumo, look, he might have just snuck past. He does know he's there using that fiery greatsword number 3.
FGS will be able to catch up with him though, yeah.
The good job. It's a good thing he had that.
Just going to play Ring Around the Rosie with him here, and now fall back over towards mid, immediately wrapping back around. He'll be back in mid. But mid itself is a real dog pile at the moment here, as you can see. So Dara went completely down. Slyboots, I think, due to Corpse Cleave, ended up going into the down state. We've got to catch up with the fight here. Apologies for missing that, but still, it looks like blue team actually made quite a bit of progress where we were looking away, and might actually be able to take a pretty hefty advantage back over here towards mid now, especially as, again, you can see here, they're rushing for kills left and right so far.
Oh, no. Literally, Lemve, the blue Necro, literally went down, and Slyboots went down as well, so he actually got the immediate rally. Poco's going down now as well. It's really not looking good for red at the moment. Modus is versus 3 people, but blue, again, not pulling away from a 3v1. I know they probably want to kill him to get him off the node fast.
Well, that's the thing. Well, they don't necessarily need to, just as of yet. Again, Fior has no issues holding off over there at the waterfall, and they don't necessarily want to push for a far point right now. They don't want to overextend. What they're doing now is fine. It's all right to leave those numbers on middle, just so long as, again, you know that you're not like indirectly hurting another point by keeping yourself in the team fight. What they were doing there is perfectly fine.
At least they've got, and because they did decap Quarry, at least they were actually getting. They did have the advantage. They had the kills. So yeah, in that they were actually probably quite right to go for. They might have even been able to get that cap over on Quarry though. But now I'm just looking at the map again. Everyone is in mid. Or moving to mid. The only people who are starting to move, and really who is Rumo, he's one of the most mobile people in the map. I'm talking about actually going away from the fight and actually being, quite useful. And the rezzing is coming out. Everyone's on the point, so the rezzing is going to be quite strong. And until everyone starts to lose their cooldowns, that's going to when people are going to start to drop. Like Willing to Sell, he's in a bit of trouble. He's getting some focus on him from Rumo. He's actually pinning him down quite well. The SR's coming out, so he's going to just move to the top of the steps. And we're going to see Short going to try and do some AoE cleave, but not happening. And DPS doing quite well there, actually, the Red Thief, doing a good job. He's actually, look, here we go. Is he going to sneak over to the waterfall? He is. He's going to go and get that decap. So that's a really good move. Coming from almost dying and then going over for the decap over on waterfall. A nice move from him. Good job.
And indeed, going back into the mid-fight again, no serious progress has honestly been made here just yet. We've got a couple skirmishing grenades going off onto the side here. Harmoni's going to chase Fuhrer once again as he attempts to stop the cap over here, but again, they're just trying to delay this to the best of their abilities. DPS obviously on, and actually Fuhrer may end up being in some trouble. We're going to have to wait and see how well he uses cooldown usage. He also has Tharius coming in there too, but again, Tharius is rotating in here way too late, so he's really only going to take the position of the paperweight. Will not, in my opinion. I still don't think it's going to be enough, to be honest here. There's poison on the corpse and everything, assuming we see, and no, they delayed on the stomp, so now he's going to get back up. I think one of them should have stomped.
Tharius got his block heal, yep, so he's going to be okay, but they've got someone else there, but he's got a lot of focus on him. No one's able to go for the res. They're too squishy on that point.
Odd corpse play in general here, to be completely honest. They should have been an easy res and/or stomp for both sides, but both of them squandered their opportunities, and it looks like, again, that the corpse cleave will just end up winning the battle here from Husaria, and they'll take him out of play.
They probably just about made the right decision there, to be honest. Red just edged ahead of that on that decision, and I think Rumo was good to probably get out of that and go back to mid, because I'm not sure. Although, you know, they could have gone for Poco there. Why? There's two red here. I mean, maybe they can take advantage of this mid now and actually try and get it, but they're just waiting for the respawn of two of their players. That's not going to happen.
They still have blue team still has to go through way too much kind of mass to take mid right now, so it's still going to be kind of a waste of time to actually go in there and take that. Yeah, Short goes down there. Not sure if they were expecting that. You can see the sudden turnaround from Rumno there. He's going to have to try to get back into mid, but he kind of makes his own decision there too and decides to head over here to far instead to try and make a decisive move to get control of this. In the meantime, though, Red Team now having pretty much full control of middle. I believe there's still one player over there holding a decap, but at the same time, they are going to try to extend their grasp and lead as much as humanly possible by coming over here and keeping the fight rolling at Waterfall. Unfortunately, however, that plan has failed miserably, to be completely honest here. We saw DPS go down. We're seeing another one of their players about to get stomped out here too, Harmonia, and it seems that over-aggression, they may end up paying the price for it now back over on mid once blue team gets their guys back to that point.
Yeah, red. Well, hopefully.
Three corpses currently on the floor here at the moment on the side of the red team, so blue team has pretty free mobility to wherever the heck they want to go, and this could be the opportunity to take mid. Considering who's on mid, it is going to take them a while, so I don't think that they'll get a full cap there, but at the very least, they're going to have pretty much full control of what's going on over here at the quarry, at least, and there's going to be no doubt in my mind we'll see a full cap coming out here for Short. Going to be a bit close with Modus trying to rush out of here from mid, but he's got the full cap anyway, so a little bit unfortunate, but this will allow True Extinction to come back into the game and bring themselves into the lead now.
Yeah, and with mid as well, so red need to be careful here. And in this kind of situation, they probably need to send, you know, I think blue are going to get the mid cap as well. Looks like we're going to get a free cap.
Yeah,
wow,
this is the issue. Red team went way too aggressive. That was the main problem.
Way too aggressive.
They pushed. They got a one-man up on mid, didn't pressure for mid, and instead decided to go for a 3 cap. And that overextension costed them 3 bodies at the same point to go into the ground, and as well just allowed blue team to come right in and get full control of middle as we just saw. And in the meantime of all of that happening, Cthulhu over here was able to come in towards the quarry, and he now has control of that with a bunker guardian planted on the point too. So there's probably a very low chance they're going to be losing that anytime soon.
And now they, you know, I mean, I think red are making a good move. You know, they're pressurizing all the points at the moment. Poco's going to be okay. I think they're going to win this 2v1 over on Waterfall, obviously. Rumo's currently chasing someone just off of Waterfall as well, chasing DPS. They actually took him down as well. And what's going to happen? He's going to leave him to bleed out. I do believe Rumo's just going to finish him off over on the side. Lenvo's going to have to leave the Waterfall as well, and they're actually going to get a cap back. But look at that free cap, 100 points.
Cthulhu, though, yeah, so and the 3 cap obviously having made a very large difference here. True Extinction will take the lead, but it looks like, again, things may be tipping the scales a little bit over towards the red team again, as Cthulhu just barely holding on, although once again here, Rummo popping out of nowhere, just going to be able to give the support necessary possibly to save his life. At the very least, Rumno will be able to sit on node here for a few seconds, let Cthulhu tick off a little bit more of HS, and then once again, once he's back up to a good health pool, he'll just jump right back on the point to fight that. But no, he's actually moving over there towards the base. I think he wanted to go for a little bit of whack-a-mole on the gate, but I ran into the one to sell there, and now is headed back to the point 2, where we're going to see another big fight happening. And good cutoff with the Earthshaker there, stops him in his tracks, forces a heal pop, possibly 2 dodges being used there too, and now we'll put DPS on his toes for this team fight.
And there, really, if I was the probably Modus, and with the warrior being that low on HP, and actually with the point fully capped against him, I probably just would have kept going for the warrior because he would have been able to take him down, or at least pressure him to the point where he wouldn't have been able to regen so much, so that when the rest of his team actually came in, they could put pressure back onto him and actually kill him. So I think that was actually a mistake, just trying to go for the thief as well, and red team all getting that res almost actually just up, still really low on HP with Short and DPS coming in on him now.
Short connects an Short connects an Earthshaker though on a DPS, but again you see Modus coming in there with the FGS swooping through him to throw him into the downstate. Tuata Banya comes in with a stab stomp to knock him out. Fiora as well got locked down a little bit in the process of trying to res him up, so he now might end up being in some trouble here, but it looks like for the time being he's managed to free himself, and although we have seen blue team hold on to this point for I believe 3 or more minutes now, it seems red team is finally piercing through the veil and might be able to get this point back. And to be completely honest, if they can take this quarry point back, and if they're still going to be able to hold on to Waterfall, it's a bit of a risky play, but if they can still hold on to Waterfall here, red team might be able to put themselves back on the board.
They could, but they need to do it really fast now. They have got Fuchs down over on the quarry now as well, and I don't think the Guardian's going to go for that res. They'd rather keep the quarry point rather than he get loads more damage on him, just going to be completely screwed, because at the moment he's really low on cooldowns. I'm assuming he has no shouts left, he has no renewed focus, he will still
next shout's still 10 seconds away there. Yeah, he's going to be down and out here, unfortunately, and with that said, Modus will be left behind to stop him out with stab just for security purposes, and now finally red team will get that back, but unfortunately, once more, due to the fact that they had to commit so much to that fight, they are going to lose control of Waterfall right here, and this will start to shift back into blue team. It will not be a full cap, but as for the blue team, that they don't really care about that full cap, to be honest, because they've got a little less than the 200-point lead at the moment.
Yeah, and at the moment, really, red, if they were even thinking about coming back, the Lord, if they were going to go for the Lord, then they're still 100 points off, you know, and in that 100 points, blue are easily going to be able to win it just with that blue cap at the moment, because Waterfall's still contested. Short's doing a good job in the 1v2. He really needs some help actually from the blue team. Currently getting it. There you go. And Farius is here as well. And we do see Fuchs coming over as well. So that point is not going to be lost by the blue team anytime soon. And if anything, red team members are probably going to be lost in that. Do see Sly Boots currently trying to just kite away from the point as well, just standing on top, trying to range in with the longbow at the moment, but someone needs to get back on that node. See, we do see Banya just on the point now as well, so they're trying to keep it contested, but this isn't doing anything for them at the moment. They're not winning anything, and their HP pools are considerably lower than Blues, and it's going to be Blues win at the moment. It just as we say that, they'll be willing to sell DPS has actually just gone down on the mid with Modus trying to get that res, but I don't think that's going to happen either.
And then meanwhile, heading back over here to the Waterfall too, currently looking at Tuata Banya's point of view at the moment. Blue team struggling to try and get something onto the red spot. Very good kiting here so far by, I believe it is Symbol. Sly Boots is evil there, doing an excellent job of keeping himself away, keeping himself near teammates in the case of him going down too. But you can just see he's kiting like a boss here, making best use of the Waterfall terrain. Very good positioning indeed, and really just wasting, really just trying to waste blue team's time. Now, unfortunately, although this was very impressive kiting, wow, look at that. When Sly Boots went down, they all came down. Look at that. Tuarta's down, Harmonia's down, as well as Sly Boots. All three of them got knocked out there at once due to what I believe was just a really well-placed lava font. Completely killed all of them. And with the full cap being had over here at the Waterfall, that's going to solidify victory here for True Extinction in Game 1 of the third-place match, meaning they are just one victory away from taking that third-place prizing. Very good wrap-up to the end there, and as such, we will now see them take the lead.
That was, yeah, they came, ever since that free cap, they just couldn't come back into it. No, they just absolutely, they struggled so hard, and they started to push it back, but it was just way too late at that point, unfortunately, and red team was able to take advantage. Red team at that point just took a couple small advantages, and that was enough to push them over the edge. So that was the unfortunate case there. Is again, you let your opponents get too far ahead, you let them control your movements, game's all over. Yeah, True Extinction kind of kept their heads as well there, really, really nicely, because I actually thought, like, starting off in that game, like first 200 or so points, I thought, sorry, I might actually come back into this, and you know, I think they might just push the win. But this is going to be interesting. We haven't had a Kylo today. No, we have not. Got one. Yes, awesome. I do like this map. So here I'm just having a look at the teams mobility-wise. Ellie's, Thieves. Have we seen a Mesmer in this cup today?
Nope.
We've not seen one Mesmer.
No Mesmers, which for Europe is a
Unusual.
Yeah, Europe is usually where we see more Mesmers.
Blimey, what's going on? We've seen so many Necros today, actually.
Yeah.
Nearly in every single team, other than Red, actually. Nearly every single team we've seen a Necro. It's absolutely nuts. There you go, guys. That's where it's at. Necro, apparently, at the moment. According to many, many, many teams. So this is going to be interesting, Blue. I mean, we've got Thieves who can, go pretty much, they can go straight through the map, really. Obviously, with the ports and whatnot. We've still got the, I think he's running Fleshworm. Necro's running Fleshworm on the blue team, so he can get to mid and whatnot. And normally planting that worm somewhere on the clock tower on the midpoint, so he's going to be quite kind of mobile if he needs to be. Ellie's do have their port as well with the lightning flash, so we've got some mobility coming out for these guys. We've no Mesmer.
Some things to keep in mind on this map specifically with the blue team, is that they are going to be hurt pretty heavily by having Lemve, to be completely honest. Because here's the thing with Lemve. With him running a Condi spec, he's going to be fairly limited on his options. As again, the Condi spec relies pretty heavily on his ability to kind of sit up on catwalks, sit up on sides, and kind of deal DPS from range. He's not someone who can sit in the middle of the team fight, take all the damage while at the same time dishing it out, kind of like a Hambo can. He can't do that. And on this map, he doesn't really get a lot of areas where he can do that sort of thing. Specifically on the side nodes over here, you can see it's for the most part just one flat plane. He's kind of got these raised areas to the side, but you don't really use those because they're really awkward to get yourself to, and it exists over here at the mansion as well. They're pretty awkward to get up onto, and it's pretty easy to abuse someone that's up on top of there too, so you don't see that too much. He'll be extremely good on mid, especially again if trebs are used and the walls are knocked out, which we'll see happen. Obviously, again, the catwalks will be pretty good, but unfortunately his options in terms of where he's going to be useful the most is going to be pretty limited to mid, so that'll be hurting the blue team a little bit.
Yeah, it's like you say, and with those points on the side, it is really anyone can get up there if they just walk up the steps, and then they can apply pressure, range damage, or whatever. And it's kind of obvious; it's not hidden a bit like it is on Forest or like it is on any other points, like in Qualifier or any of the maps. Actually, it's just very open on the side nodes, very open. If he can plant his Fleshworm really high on clock tower, like almost the tiny little damage bit right at the top, he cannot be seen there. And I've seen some Necros really own up there, and you're just thinking, oh, good lord, someone's got to get out there fast and get some pressure up on this guy, because he can line of sight really easily as well. So if he positions himself really well, he can be really, really destructive and cause Red a lot of problems, but he needs to be so aware of that. He's actually been quite good at his positioning as well, I've noticed at different points in the game. The split was quite good when he came onto Waterfall. He's very patient, he stayed out of line of sight. They couldn't see him when they came into the point, and they didn't even engage on the point, unfortunately, because I think he would have been quite useful. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how he positions himself. But, I think Red, they're quite bunkery, If they maybe go for like a side node move, that might be quite good for them. Treb's going to be fun to come into play as well. Have to see what's happening with these things.
We are just waiting at the moment. Blue team's Warrior was re-rolling, I believe. He's now gone to Soldier's Hambo with Holbrecht there, so a very much more defensive build coming into play from Cthulhu. But again, we were just waiting for those guys to rejoin, and as soon as they are now back in and readied up, which should be in just a few moments here, we're going to get started. But once again here, guys, as a quick reminder, we are now on Battle... Oh, I almost said Legacy, the Faux Fire. We are now on the Battle of Kylo. For those who don't kind of know just some of the secondary mechanics that come into play on this map, we obviously have the Trebuchet, which again is an odd secondary mechanic, because on most of the other maps, the secondary mechanic is always worth some sort of point value towards the total 500 points. This map, it's not the case at all. The killing the Trebuchet, using the Trebuchet, doing things with the Trebuchet will not net you any points whatsoever. It's only going to give you a tactical advantage in team fights, as once again, when you're firing that Trebuchet, it does need to be held down and channeled. You need to channel for the appropriate amount to fire it onto each point and rotate it, obviously, there as well. But if you are able to do it properly, it'll deal a lot of damage. In fact, 2 or 3 hits will kill most players. And again, while it can be dodged, it is going to add a lot of chaos to the team fight, and if it's not stopped, it will help teams to control and win quite a few team fights, and that is where the secondary objective will start to translate into points. If the Treb is killed, which it'll be killed by normal damage, players just got to go over there, DPS it down. It can be repaired by a repair kit that is located on the adjacent side of wherever the trebuchet is located, but again, you have to go grab that, and you got to run it all the way back over to the Treb to repair it, which is quite a wieldy process, so a lot of teams tend not to do that.
Yeah, and if you're going to do it, like Mesmers are really good for portaling and whatnot to actually, but there is no Mesmer, of course. But you know, we've got some people who can get some speed before they pick it up, because you can't actually buff much speed before you actually pick it up as well. So if you're going to do that, you need to make sure you've got some kind of swiftness, otherwise you're out of the game for quite a long time. And and people say that about the Treb, one thing people say, which is, you know, quite obvious, it's really easy to dodge. But what's happening when you're doing that? You're using your dodge. You're using your dodge, which is, you know, a lot of survivability for your characters. A lot of people completely forget that. They say, oh, it's easy to dodge. Don't worry about the Treb. They're forcing you to dodge. So you're not going to be able to dodge if someone's coming to do some damage on you. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yep.
So even if people are just dodging, it's still helping to a degree, but you've got to make sure the fight is going to go your way in the end, because if it doesn't, you know, you just got to give it up and get back out. But we're going to start 5 seconds.
All right, guys, once again here, this is what could be the final match of today. The bronze match between Husaria and True Extinction is now continuing, with True Extinction having a 1-0 advantage here in this set. Obviously, again, we are on the Battle of Kylo, so let's see, based on these splits, who's going to take the early advantage. Jebro?
Not too sure, actually. It does look like Modus is actually quickly already going for that Treb. Both teams going for it really fast. The Thief, I'm not sure if he's going to bail. He is going to bail. And he's just got a couple of shots actually off into mid, which is quite nice. So now we have... oh, wow! Farius taking that right in the face, already down to 50%, and he might have to...
Another important thing to note there, too, is the fact that Lemve actually got knocked off the catwalk there by one of the warriors on the red team, so he's now out of play here as well. He's a very crucial part of keeping a lot of the DPS off Therius, making sure that Connies keep getting applied to red team members. There's a lot of the peels that Therius needs, so without that, they are going to be in some trouble. Thankfully, however, Lemve now coming back into play. Rumno is here as well, so blue team's going to add some more chaos, which can kind of compensate for what was lacking before, and Lemve will probably reassume his position in just a few moments.
Oh yeah, he was nice actually, because he actually moved downstairs to apply some pressure to DPS. But look, the warrior again, and we saw this a couple of times in the ESL Cup actually. When someone is applying pressure to someone else and putting them in danger, it's also good for someone else to try and put pressure onto that person, so they have to cease DPS and they have to disengage, so that important player can then come back into the fight or regen. And that's just what happened. And actually, Rumo went down now, and Lemve is going to go into plague form. Still got some, he's going to be okay for a bit, so he's just going to go off point, but he doesn't have any stability or anything, and he's going to have to tank on node with Farius for now, as they do have only 2 members versus 3 of the red team currently on clock tower.
And again, we take a look at the clock tower here in terms of what we got in the matchup. Lemve is here. Unfortunately, however, Lemve is not going to last very long. They need to get some more support. Thankfully, we've got Fury coming in. The staff alley will be able to put a lot of support onto him, so that'll save his butt for the time being. But they've really got to be careful of red team here. And again, they've got to make pretty heavy abuse, which they're actually doing right now. Very impressive usage right here, as you can see, of lines of warding and stuff like that, specifically by the staff alley. Fury kind of the MVP of the past 30 seconds of this game, to be honest here, really saving Lemve's butt. But as you can see, the pain train comes through. Still knocks Lemve into the downstate, though, and with him being out, that is going to be a lot of the Connies eliminated, and will give red team the freedom needed to just DPS down more members of the blue team. Other than that, though, this is surprisingly, for this map, a very mid-focused game. We usually don't see that too often on this map. We usually see a very side point-focused game. We don't see it very often when there's a lot of emphasis on mid, due to the fact that fighting on mid is a very kind of awkward thing. It's on a raised platform. To stand on it, you have to be a rather bulky individual, so we often don't really see a lot of big fights happening there. Very often, teams will try to shift things over to the side nodes, where they have a lot more open terrain to fight over. But it seems that that's kind of been the opposite here. A lot of teams have been opting to go for mid, which kind of makes sense for the red team, because they are a fairly bulky comp. They've got a lot of heavies, and with that said, they've got a lot of bruiser heavies as well, so they can kind of do that. But as for blue team, I'm not really sure if I agree with it for them, but they're making the best of it, to be honest here. They're still doing a very nice job working together, DPSing down targets, and if they can keep that rolling long enough, then they will eventually get the advantage here, if things keep rolling as they are now.
And it doesn't like... are they red are starting to push over towards the close point? No, sorry, over towards the windmill again now. so I just looked at the map and I was like, okay, close point. No, they've got the opposite points of the map. So if anything, it's actually
blue team actually fully gets the cap over here at Clock Tower now too, just due to the fact that again their Guardian has been doing a much better job of standing on point. To be honest, again he's going to take a lot more damage because of that. And as we take a look at the builds here too, just to kind of see in comparison, again you note that Therius is running with an AH build here at the moment, which that's going to give him the boost. I think Tuarda is Tuarda's running with AH here too, but as we have seen here, Therius doing a much better job at actually self-sustaining himself with those teammates being in play. That's another thing here too, is the fact that his teammates have generally speaking stuck within close proximity for him for a lot of the time. So when he pops off things like power there, the 4th ability on his staff, he was going to be getting the extra heals from that, compared to the red team where we saw, I didn't really see Tuarda hanging out by his teammates as much there, so he wasn't really getting as much of an effect from that, and that's why he was able to last, at least via the direct damage, a lot longer. Now in the end of things, obviously we did just see him going down here just due to the fact that I think there was a bit of an unlucky scenario where he ended up getting locked down, but still, through the overall course of that team fight, blue team easily had the advantage.
I mean, another reason why it went down as well is because the Thief actually fully capped Mansion. They had Windmill as well. They won that over there, and everyone from Red, they were just like, oh, okay, we lost that point, so let's just commit to mid because, but look, Faris is back. All his cooldowns, he's fine, he's going to be okay for, well, not all his cooldowns, sorry, he's missing 2 or 3, but he's on the point.
Okay. He's on the point, and there's not enough. What's important is that he's on the point right now, and there's not enough damage to kill him. That's what matters. They'll keep things decapped. That's his job on this map. You're not going to see on this map specifically, just due to how awkward it is to rotate your Guardian to side nodes. The Guardian's job on this point, or on this map, is mainly to hold mid. And that's like 90% of his job, just due to the fact that, again, unless he's coming directly out of a spawn, it's very awkward to kind of rotate him to other points. So he's going to be a lot more focused on mid and on self-survivability than he is on, generally speaking, team play when you compare it to a couple other maps.
I mean, with the level that these guys are at, I completely agree with you, definitely. I mean, if you saw 55 versus maybe like Team Miss or something, those guys would be rotating, but not here, not with these two teams, no way, because you've only got a couple of people decapping. Again, look, Rumo's going for a windmill at the moment as well, but most of everything's happening in mid. Like most of the stuff's happening between mid and even windmill now. There's just a couple of recaps happening across the map. Slyboot's just getting the full cap back on windmill now. I mean, there's only 78 points, but Red need to do something extra. They need to pull something up.
Red team's offensive in mid is waning very slowly. It started off really strong. They were doing a really good job. They had a lot of very coordinated focus we saw there too, but due to some very clutch individual plays, to be completely honest, by people on True Extinction over here, specifically from Führer. Führer being the real MVP there at the start of that team fight, saving his teammates more than once easily. Really, again, coming out of the woodwork there, kind of denied a lot of the burst, and blue team has kind of just been whittling down members of the red team on mid. Now, as you're seeing here, there's a lot of periods of kind of resurgence and unsurgence of red team's burst coming into play here, but overall I think blue team's kind of gotten a lot of this under a leash at the moment. They know what to expect from the red team, and they know, I think at the very least they definitely have a contingency plan at this point, so they're not really too worried about having an extended fight over here on mid, mainly obviously because they have the lead, but in all honesty, in the long run of things, blue team has much better control over the scenario here.
Yeah, completely, and they're stretching their lead. I mean, no, actually thinking about it, they've had about an 80-point lead now from almost.
And they're going to keep that lead going too, because they're getting more kills. They're getting more kills, so that lead, even though it is a 1-1 cap, they're still ticking that lead up by 5 points every time they get a kill, so on and so forth. That's stacked into the, let's say, I'd say anywhere between 5 to 10 kills that's been on the map at this point, and that's still 25 to 50 point advantage that they actually have here at the moment. And once again here, due to the superior point control, we did see True Extinction now getting a full cap back on the clock tower. Unfortunately, they overcommitted slightly and will lose the cap over here back at the mansion to finally move off of mid for a second, but at the same time here, Romo doing his job amazingly well will sneak right over here to the windmill and get another decap to kind of even the score.
Yeah, exactly. He's not being greedy, They're winning the game. They don't need to overcommit. So he's just gone for the decap, even though they've only got the 1 cap at the moment. So that's really cautious. It's a good way to go. And look, we see Farius actually moving over now towards that mansion point, and wow, bringing everyone. Everyone's moving here, and the actual short doing a good job at rotating to mid as well. And actually, folks, he did miss the Thief. He was looking a lot at the mansion, and he's been very, very cautious. Just did a couple of damage spells in the midpoint, and he did just miss that Thief. The Thief wasn't stealthed when he moved over to mansion. That SR coming out, and Fox
clutch reses. Very nicely done there by Therius, immediately going for the knockback res that's traded there, and as well following that immediately into an SR to confirm. Very nicely done by the blue team. Now again, red team has a lot of more spike burst potentiality back over here, so they are going to have a little bit extra pressure, but so far blue team dealing with it brilliantly. I do think that, to be honest here, I do think that blue team made a mistake in trying to come over here and team fight here, as once more they've lost control of mid. They fought very hard for that, so giving that up was a pretty risky play, but we're going to have to wait and see just how much it actually pays off or works in them, as again, red team's putting a lot more pressure onto them back over here at the mansion compared to really anything the blue team could put on them in general.
Yeah, now I think actually blue, if they push to mid now, just because Slyboots is so low on HP. Oh, low room! Rumo getting really cool. Look at Shaw. Oh, did you see that?
Awesome I missed it. What ended up happening?
Shaw. Oh my good lord.
We ended up missing that. What happened?
Into mid with a hammer, smashed Slyboots, took him down, and then Rumo gets up from that. Nice move. He really saved his butt there. Some awesome warriors we've had in these brackets today. Wow, it's a really nice move. Good job.
So once again, though, as we kind of predicted back over here at the mansion, we did see red team. Their pressure did prove to be a little bit too much for blue team to handle. Fior, the last player to get knocked out. Therius, for the first time in quite a few minutes, goes into the downstate, but once more here, blue team completely out-rotating their opponents, managed to get, as we saw a few seconds ago, full control of the clock tower, and as well, their necromancer has taken control of the windmill here as well. So still, even though they have been losing fights for a few minutes now, True Extinction still holding majority control of this map.
Yeah, this got to give it to blue at the moment, really. 150 points ahead and looking solid across the map. Faris is now rotating like a beast. He's now back over on the on the waterfall. Wow, he's gone back in time. On the windmill, and they're going to where the team fights are, and they're winning them nearly every single time. You know, and if they only lost mention, really, that was the only fight they've kind of lost here. But Lemve's gone down, the SR comes up, and the knockback again. Almost like clockwork from the blue team, actually. And they're doing very good. Just holding the line at the moment is the blue team strategy, and so far it's working very well. Starting to make comebacks back over here at the windmill, too. And keep in mind, too, how extensive an effort it was to actually transfer everyone over here to windmill. That was not an easy task to do, especially just after losing a big team fight there at Mansion. They had to do a lot of work to rotate everyone back over here and make sure they all got here pretty much unscathed. So that was very good, and even though they've gotten everyone here, you would still expect them to eventually lose the fight, just kind of hold on to the point for as long as possible. But they're, at the moment, winning the team fight here. They still have the advantage. Tward is about to go into the downstate, probably actually will go completely down, and there you go, knocking him out, and at the same time rezzing up Lem. So with that said, blue team making the best of what could have been an extremely bad situation will now really start to rocket ahead, and with this wipe, to be honest, it might be the game. They might see a triple corpse kill here at the moment again, but red team's piecing out, so they're going to save at the very least Harmonia's life. Slyboots, however, might still go down due to this pressure, and DPS was also not completely out of play. I mean, with that pressure as well towards their respawn, you know, and they've all got to come out and they've got to push all the way to Mansion to defend it. I mean, Modus can't leave that point at the moment, and the Warrior's gone over there as well. I mean, I'm not sure what they're thinking of over a Mansion with two players, but I think they feel that obviously they have indeed lost.
I think that this game's over. Yep, coming up to the 490 point mark here. Blue team, very good job with holding the line in this game. Very hard job too, as again with that last team fight over there at Far. Very impressive winning that one. So with that said, big props to the blue team here. True Extinction is going to be taking a 2-0 victory here in the third place match, meaning they'll be getting the third place rewards and prizing for this qualifier. As for Husaria, they're going to be taking home fourth place, but still, very nice job. 4th out of 32 teams. Not too bad.
That's pretty bloody good, in my opinion, really. Should be really, really proud of themselves, especially for a team we've not really heard of at all. For sure. Definitely.
All right, guys. So with that said, that is actually the end of our qualifier for today. We still have one more llama to give away. We'll be doing that as we end the stream here, so stick around. That'll be done in chat, so keep your eyes on that. Don't leave just yet. But as a reminder, once more, tomorrow is the North American Qualifier 3. Lots of big names coming into play tomorrow. Apex is playing. We've got Outplayed by Children playing. Sharks with Lasers making a show up, along with plenty of the new faces that we'll be seeing. 32 more teams will step up to the play in their attempt to qualify for the North American Tournament of Legends. That, again, will be starting tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, and 21 CEST. For players actually scheduled to play tomorrow, make sure you do check your email as the full schedule has been sent to you guys. And for people playing in Q4 as well, we'll be sending that info a little bit later on into the week. But don't forget about that too, is that next weekend we also have Qualifier 4 coming up. So if you don't really want to watch North America, keep in mind that the 4th qualifier for the European bracket starts at the same time next Saturday, same place here on this channel as well, and that'll be hosted by Jebro and myself too. But other than that, gotta give a big shout out to ToL2 actually for helping me out today. Usually we have 4 admins, including myself, running today, but 2 of them, unfortunately, one had a family emergency, another one was unavailable today, so him and I kind of had to juggernaut through everything. Both of us, the 2 of us, ran pretty much the entire tournament today, so props to ToL2 for trucking through everything. Make sure you give him a shout out for anybody that knows who he is, and if not, we'll find him and give him a shout out anyways. He did a lot of work today, so thanks to ToL2 for helping out. Of course, our lead admin over there at Misspedia. And other than that, thanks to Jebro for helping me out with casting today. Jebro, you want to go ahead and put your links out there for anybody that wants to follow?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, my Twitch, twitch.tv/JebroUnity. YouTube channel is youtube.com/UnityJebro. And tweet down here. Tweet at me some stuff. I'll do gem giveaways on all these channels and all this stuff. And as well, Blue, I've got to say, good job, man, today. Good stream. Good job to you and I was going to say admins. You and admin.
Me and the admin, yeah.
Because running a 32-team tournament across 4 arenas between 2 people.
Yeah, we had a lot of jumping back and forth to do today. It was a pretty intense. It was a pretty intense day. We got through it though. It was surprisingly smooth, to be completely honest. I was expecting it to go a lot worse than it ended up going. So we're pretty good. Anyway.
And thank you to everyone that's watching, guys. Of course, probably to you the most. Without you watching at home, we cannot do this. So thank you very much for your support. And make sure you join us. Come tomorrow. Like you said, like Blue said, there's a lot of good teams playing tomorrow. A lot of good characters as well. And yeah, he'll see you tomorrow, and I'll see you next week.
And make sure you guys are keeping your eyes on the forums, as well as Reddit, as well as I will be posting a numerous amount of threads for getting some more hype going for the Gamescom coverage that I'll be bringing to you. So that'll be coming up too. And don't forget about Gamescom, Jebro.
Yeah.
When is that happening?
A week.
That's out now, right? The dates.
Yeah.
That's all out now, right? We can talk. I was making sure we were allowed to talk about that, right?
Don't bring India now. Yeah, next a week Thursday I'm casting. A week Thursday Nick's casting, Chronic Gamer, the German caster, and a week Friday I'm casting at Gamescom. Also, Blue is there doing loads of stuff, and guys, you sent him there. Well done, seriously. Blue's coming to Gamescom. He deserves to be there. So we're all going to be there. If you are going to be there, make sure you join us. And if you see us in the crowd or see us, come up, say hello, because I want to meet people and have a couple of beers or whatever. Coffee, if you don't drink beer, that's fine as well. But you're in Germany, you might as well make the most of it. But yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be fun, man.
All right. And with that said, I believe that is just about it, guys. So once again, we're going to do the last llama giveaway in the chat. Keep your eyes on that. I'll be doing it in there. But other than that, we hope you have enjoyed today's stream. As usual, if you have any feedback whatsoever, you can just go ahead and send me a private message on Twitch. You can go ahead and join the discussion over on Reddit or on the forums if you would like to give us any feedback, and we'll be trying to adjust that to the best of our abilities too. But other than that, we hope you have enjoyed today's stream, and if we can not catch you for any other events happening throughout the week, we hope you will join us next week at the ToL2 Qualifier 4 EU, happening next Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. Have a good one, guys. We'll see you later.